Okay, what is happening, people?
Yep.
How you doing?
How you
Hopefully you
doing?
guys are having a fantastic day and ready for a good stream. We are going to do our absolute best to help you set your optimal lineups for week 9 and just give you the best fantasy advice that we can on today's stream.
As always.
So, hopefully you have had a great day. And hopefully we can help you tonight. Hopefully you're not too hungover from the Halloween party.
The Halloween party.
What'd you do for Halloween?
Nothing.
Yeah.
I celebrate with the Lord normally.
Wow. As in you pray during Halloween?
Yeah,
fast?
just because all the evil shit around now. Actually,
help us.
it's actually all jokes. I don't really do much for Halloween. It's not big in Australia. So it's not like you see kids walking around or anything like knocking on doors.
Jehovah's Witnesses, kids. You do.
Jehovah's Witnesses for sure.
Shout out to them. Anyway.
Do you actually get a lot of those over there?
I see some.
Okay.
I see some.
Anyways.
All right. Go ahead and answer that first question. I'm going to be right back. It's just so hot. I need to turn the AC on in here.
Okay. I think the first question I can see here is MH1608. It says 18 full PPR, 2 flex. By the way, we're going to be going in order. Okay. So if you have any super chats, drop them and you can kind of jump the line. We'll get into them straight away, but we're going to go in order, answering all of your star sit questions going into week 9 here. All right, guys. So MH, once again, 18 full PPR, 2 flex league, 2-6 record suggestions. Look, brother, I think we say this all the time, and this is really good. You know, we can't really tell you what to do or how to do it. You're in an 8-man league, so essentially your team is already good. One thing I would say is that Carr shouldn't be your quarterback. That's the best thing I could tell you here. Everyone else looks phenomenal. James Cook, AJ Brown, Dalton Kincaid, Jordan Addison, DJ Moore. Obviously, there's things that you're gonna have to deal with, but we can't. Obviously, you have Murray on IR, so that's probably why. But one of our biggest suggestions for you is just to take Derek Carr out of that lineup in the quarterback position there. So hopefully that helps their MH. But yeah, we're not trying to do too much team grades.
Yeah,
so keep
I was
that
gonna say that.
keep that in mind.
We don't do team grades, so keep that in mind, guys. We'll just say that
Yeah.
from the beginning of the stream. Just Flow says, should I drop Romeo Dobbs to pick up Hubbard and start him over Aaron Jones and Hunt? I definitely would pick up Hubbard. He seems to be the guy there for them. Dominated touches last week. Miles Sanders had 2 carries, guys. 2 carries. I think Chuba Hubbard. Chubbard. Let's just call him Chubbard now, honestly. Chubbard, I think he touched the ball like 19 to 20 times last game. I mean, he's their guy. So, great matchup. He's one of my favorite starts of the week this week. Patrick Mahomey says, hey guys, someone dropped Sam Laporta to the waivers.
It's crazy to run 2 tight ends.
Dude, I literally have in our home league, our home super flex league, I have Laporta and Kelsey, and I flex them sometimes. Just did it last week. Worked out well.
I think there are definitely ways you can do that, and times you can and should, depending on who your flex option is. If you have a really strong flex, I think there are ways that you can maneuver on a week-to-week basis, but I would pick him up.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm genuinely shocked that he's even available. I mean, that's a little bit bonkers to me. If you look at how many points he's scored so far this year, 110.4. I wonder what that ranks amongst wide receivers. That would make him the wide receiver 16.
You love to see it.
So definitely a flex play so far. A wide receiver 2 play so far, actually. Just Flow says, who should I sit? Yeah, I mean, in this question, there is a lot that still needs to be answered, my man. So much.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to know what Aaron Jones' practice reports look like. We need to know what Jerome Ford's practice reports look like. Ideally, you start those 2 running backs, but we need to wait on some more information. I'd say.
Completely agree. By the way, both of them were limited, Aaron Jones and Jerome Ford.
Okay.
On Wednesday, so keep that in mind.
Okay.
Let's see if they get better participation in practice coming into Thursday. So keep
I hear
that.
you. By the way,
Yeah.
guys, almost 30 people watching the stream. Do us a favor. Go ahead and hit that like button for us. Just a very simple way for you to help this channel grow is by clicking the like button. We appreciate y'all. Next question is in order is from Akshay. Just trade away Laporta. I have Kincaid, DJ Moore, and Gibbs for Pollard, Kyler Murray, and Jacoby Myers. I gotta be honest, I really don't like this trade. I don't know where you stand, but obviously we prefer Laporta over Kincaid, but Kincaid looks like a reliable starter moving forward, and I think he'll have a great game this week. But
yeah, I think there's still just a lot of question marks with a lot of people. When you think about this trade, you think of Jahmyr Gibbs and what that role is going to look like. You think of DJ Moore, how long is Justin Fields going to be away? That those guys that you traded away. I mean, you also think about the players that you acquired in Tony Pollard. You know, he hasn't been consistent, hasn't been the guy that we hoped he'd be so far this year. He's definitely won you games, but I think he's lost you more games than he has actually won you. And Kyler Murray, if you need a quarterback, I'm assuming in a Superflex league.
If this is Superflex, I love it. If it's quarterback, I hate it.
I think I think it could be Superflex. Yeah, if it's a one quarterback, what's the point of getting Kyler Murray?
Well, you know? I definitely understand the idea of getting Kyler Murray. I'm excited about that, but I just think it shouldn't cost this much in a one quarterback league. So if it's Superflex, I can understand, but in a one quarterback, I just think you gave up way too much value. And I'm worried about Jacoby Myers a little bit.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go next. You know, with Aiden O'Connell, we saw that only caught 2 out of 4 targets when he was playing the Chargers. And oddly enough, that was one of his highest snap percentages with 96. Obviously, he's been averaging 95, 91, 94. But yeah, 96% of the snaps could be guys that you could pivot off of coming into this week, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Actually, he says starting 2 wide receivers and 1 flex, Pollard, Kupp, Thielen, Garrett Wilson. Okay, so 2 wide receivers off the jump here would have to be Adam Thielen for me, and then Garrett Wilson. I think both these guys have good matchups coming in. And then a flex, I think I'm actually going Michael Pittman coming into this week. I'm going all the wide receivers.
Okay. Yeah, that is a tough one.
I don't think this is what I would say.
Okay.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I don't trust Kupp. I don't trust Jacoby Myers. I don't trust Hollywood Brown. Not that I don't trust Tony Pollard. He's just been inconsistent. So I'm going with all the consistent guys here at the wide receiver position, and Thielen, Garrett Wilson, and Michael Pittman. And Garrett Wilson has one of the best matchups. Pittman also has, if I'm not mistaken, a decent matchup coming into this week, playing the Panthers.
It's a pretty bad matchup.
It's actually a pretty bad matchup. Yeah, you're right. But still, the points that he's been getting and targets he's been seeing, I think I'm really confident in.
Yeah. Yeah. I would also start the wide receivers. I was just processing that for a second there. Chad, what's up, man? Start Nico or Myers. You know, here's what I'll say. I don't think we should lower expectations so drastically for Jacoby Myers where we expect a 2-reception game like we saw last time with Aiden O'Connell. But unfortunately, I think we may have seen his best stretch of the year already. That's what's concerning for me. And as far as Nico Collins goes, I love his matchup this week, and I think he bounces back. So this would be Nico, but I don't want people to think, oh, you're just completely out on Jacoby. That's not the case. It's just it depends on your options at this point.
Yeah, really depends on the options. I think, you know, when you think of all these question mark situations, you might have to pivot to something that's a little bit more consistent or a little bit more, what can I say? I guess high upside. Hopefully that helps. Actually, he says, where would you value Monty in PPR leagues that have JT Brees? Plan to use Monty in the flex spot? I mean,
great flex. I mean,
yeah, it's a great flex.
For me, he would be still. Let me look. I actually just updated my rest of season rankings over on the Flock Fantasy site. By the way, guys, pretty cool feature over there.
Yeah, it's getting better.
This website, I'm telling you, it is getting better and better. We are so excited about the amount of tools that we're going to be releasing in the next 6 months. the visual updates, the graphic updates. But the newest update is our community rankings. Love this feature. Really, really love this feature. Essentially, it asks you to rank a player before you try the community rankings. So if we were to look at rest of season rankings, how would I rank these names? Jeez, that is tough. That is a tough question to start off.
I would say, like, yeah, it's tough. Some of these names are tough to kind of rank.
Let me quickly look at my rest of season rankings because I literally just finished them. But man, knowing that Matthew Stafford is not a long-term injury puts him ahead of. I think I would rank it like this: Jefferson 1, Puka 2, Waddle 3. But those three are so close, and I would say in a very, very similar range. I don't think that. I don't think Josh Dobbs is tanking Justin Jefferson anymore, but it's definitely not the same as Kirk. But both these guys have quarterback questions. Waddle could easily outscore them. It's tough. But anyway, you submit your rankings. You contribute to the community rankings. And then you can see the community rankings here. But again, just updated my rankings rest of season. And Montgomery, let's see where I have Montgomery ranked amongst running backs. He is my running back 13 rest of the year. Running back 13. So I'm still pretty confident in him. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I have him a little bit higher. He'll be my running back 10 for me.
Makes sense.
I have him over Tony Pollard. I have him over DeAndre Swift.
Okay.
Currently. So yeah, I feel really confident with Monty, JT, and Breeze for your questions, actually. So I think a really solid flex position.
I think that makes
when
sense.
he is healthy. Yeah.
I definitely think that makes sense. Eric, what's up, man? One quarterback PPR lost Cousins. Who's a better trade target between Kyler Murray and Derek Carr? Definitely Kyler Murray for me. Now, we just have to preface, anytime you are trading for a quarterback in a one quarterback format, we are not open to giving up a lot of value. Like, it needs to be a like for like swap and a tiny upgrade somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just not something that we would be trading a superstar running back for, or a wide receiver, or a very, very good tight end. But he says, who would you rather give up between Myers and Ridley? I think at this point, Myers for me, I'd rather give up. Where do you stand with that?
Yeah, I mean, I would give up Myers as well, unfortunately. Before this week, we would have easily said, I would have easily said giving up Calvin Ridley. So
with what he had done with what
he was doing,
Jacoby was doing with Jimmy, it was impressive. Yeah. Eric, what's up, my man? Again, got Dobbs and Heineke off waivers for now. Thinking of also adding Jordan Love. Rank Dobbs, Love, and Heineke. So Heineke would be last there for me. And in this offense, man, Dobbs might be even better than what he was in Arizona, and he was like a startable asset in Arizona.
I just don't know if it's startable immediately. I think we need to give him a couple weeks.
No, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Rest of season though is a question. I will put Dobbs ahead of Love and then Heineke, but it's very close between Dobbs and Love there.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think
what's the chances that Jordan Love loses his job rest of the year?
I don't think he actually will. I think they're going to continue to ride with him. And I think he's been inconsistent, but when he's consistent, he's hitting. He's firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Jordan Love, Dobbs, and then Heineke for me.
We did just get a super chat from Jerisko, so we'll get to that question straight away. Thank you for your donation, man. 2 quarterback league, CJ Stroud and TJ Hawkinson for Justin Herbert and Logan Thomas. 2 quarterback league, Stroud, Hawkinson, Herbert, Logan. I still want the quarterback here, personally. I'd still prefer Herbert in a 2 quarterback league. Obviously, Hawkinson is a clear upgrade over Logan, but Logan's not been tragic. And Justin Herbert right now, if you look on a per-game basis, if I'm not mistaken, I looked this up yesterday, I think he's a quarterback 3 on a per-game basis, and I can quickly look at that. But, if you take out Will Levis's game, yeah, he's a quarterback 3 for anyone who started more than 2 games, basically. So I don't want to give up Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
I'm in a super flex league where I have him, and people are sending me offers, and I'm like, sorry, Herbert is not available. There's not a take the name out and put Patrick Mahomes on Justin Herbert's name and look at his stats. You're not trading him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I would say this, I am not, it's not the end of the world if you did do this trade already with CJ and TJ Hawkinson. But yeah, I'm really okay with this. I would hope that Logan Thomas, what I was hoping for is that Logan Thomas is a little bit different. Could that have been, who am I thinking of? I think maybe Evan Ingram. I feel like that's that's a more even trade. I'm thinking of a Dallas Goedert. I think he could have been in that same playing field as well. Yeah. Other than that, like, yeah, you're right. Logan Thomas hasn't been terrible. Tight end 10 on the season so far. So
yeah,
I'm okay.
It's been boom bust. That's most of the guys outside the top 3 or 4. But hey guys, over 50 people watching the stream. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Hopefully you had a great Halloween and you are ready to dominate this week in fantasy. We're going to do our best to help you. We will be answering questions from top to bottom. Unless there's a super chat. Super chats will get answered straight away. No obligation, but it is available if you want to. And last thing is, can you please go ahead and drop a like on the stream? Help us get to that 50 like mark. We are 25 likes away from 50, meaning we are halfway there. And I'll just say quickly, the only reason we ask that is because it genuinely does help YouTube push us out to more people. You are actively helping us grow when you hit that like button. So go ahead and do so. And as we help you, you can help us. We did just get another super chat, so let's quickly answer that from Samuel. He says, thanks for all the help. Questions to follow. Thank you for the donation. 2 different half PPR leagues need 2 flexes. Hendo, Hubbard, or Watson need 1 flex. Okay, so let's start with the first one. Need 2 flexes between Henderson, Hubbard, and Watson. For me, it would be the 2 running backs. It's not that I don't believe in Christian Watson, but you haven't been happy to start him yet in this year. The next one says need 1 flex, Henderson, Addison, Watson, Wilson. This would be where I would be comfortable to risk it with Addison. Like at that point, I'd be like, all right, I'd rather the unknown of what Addison could be with his talent rather than just banking on Henderson with a backup quarterback, to carry you, if that makes sense.
I'm gonna go Henderson.
Okay.
Coming into this week still over Addison, but I understand why Addison. I mean, PPR format, it's half PPR, so it's not too big of a difference, but I completely understand if you wanted to go Addison there.
And yeah, we answered that one as well. So thank you, Samuel, for your donation, man. Appreciate y'all. We're going top to bottom here. Mr. Green says, got countered, offered Pacheco and Achane for Kamara and Pittman. Got counter offered maybe? Pacheco and Achane for Kamara and Pittman.
I think this might have been a question from yesterday. To be honest, Mr. Green, we don't remember. So like, if you're gonna just in the future, if you're like going based off a question we did last time, put the context of what the question was, right? Because we just
we answer just so many questions a day. It's hard to keep track. But we do remember names. He says I have CMC, Pollard, Cup, Keenan. But overall, I'm just going to look at this trade and say Kamara and Pittman are the more valuable, players in fantasy here, right?
Yeah,
I don't want to overthink it too much. JSN or Watson? JSN or Christian Watson?
I think I would be going Jackson Smith.
Yeah.
Personally, over Christian Watson. I mean,
look, they are
the last 3 games
back to back in my rankings, so it's.
I think if you look at the last 3 games, it just hasn't been in favor of Christian Watson, and he's had some favorable matchups.
He has.
Like he has Denver, he had Minnesota.
The targets are there last week, just not on the same page.
Yeah.
I would probably go JSN as well.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. I'll be back.
No worries. Dame Walker 12 team PPR 5-3. Allen Jacobs. Okay. What's any drop stashes would you do Jacobs and Zay for Chase? Okay. I mean, once again, we can't do this whole like grade my team type of thing. I'm just looking at Jacobs, Kenan Walker, Charbonnet, Roscoe, Pierce, Tyreek Hill. I mean, this is a great team. I would say your probably lowest part is maybe, there's no low spot here. You have good running backs as well. I will say you.
Keep in mind, we don't do team breakdowns.
Yeah,
let's just
exactly.
answer his question. The team breakdowns,
No, but
they just take too long.
it would just be like the Jacobs, the question at the bottom, which I was telling him. I was like, would you do Jacobs plus A for Chase? I will keep Jamar Chase personally. I would want Jamar Chase. He says Oakland pick 2 for this week. Higgins, Flowers, Evans, Rice. I am going Evans and Higgins this week.
Higgins, Flowers, Evans, Rice. Yeah. I think I'm going Evans and Flowers.
Okay.
This is the first week I think the Ravens actually need Zay. It's been so annoying. Like, if you have rostered Zay, it's been frustrating. But it's not because he's playing poorly. He's playing well. But the issue is they haven't needed Zay Flowers. They haven't needed to throw the ball. Remember, their last couple matchups, they destroyed the Lions. No need to throw the ball at all. Last week, it was versus Arizona. They weren't down the entire game. So I think, for me, it would be Zay and Evans there, but I can understand both sides.
Yeah, makes sense.
Ham is the next one. He says, trade I made recently, Adams and Achane for Amon-Ra and James Conner. Thoughts? Adams was my wide receiver 2. I already had JT, Etienne, and Mixon. Kupp was my wide receiver 1. Let's see. Adams and Achane for Amon-Ra and Conner. I'm fine with it. I would say it honestly is quite even. He already has JT, Etienne, and Mixon. So I do think Amon-Ra is an upgrade over Adams at this point.
Yeah, and then that's where I was going to go. I mean, I would want Amon-Ra side.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. I mean, when Aiden O'Connell played with Adams, he got
great.
peppered.
Yeah.
But I think we have to remember, like, that was against one of the worst, one of the best passing. How can I say this? What's the words? They played against a team that gave up the most points to the wide receiver position. That was a huge bonus in that matchup as well. I'm not saying that's not going to happen again, but I think we also have to lower our expectations when it comes down to Devontae Adams on a week-to-week basis a little bit.
Sure.
But I mean, Giants, Jets, and then Miami, so
yeah,
a couple interesting matchups here. He said also start 1, flex 1, JSN, Shaheed, Henderson. I will be, however way you want to do it, is going to be JSN and Henderson for me.
Yeah, Shaheed has a great matchup. It's
just boom bust. Like,
yeah.
If you want to risk it and hopefully he catches that 60-yard bomb for the touchdown, that's great, you know. But if he doesn't, you're really upset that he didn't. You know, you get mad at yourself that you didn't start the other people.
Yeah. Which defense to start? Falcons versus Jaren Hall and the Vikings, or Packers versus Rams without Stafford? You know, this would for me be Falcons. I don't know where you stand.
It would be Falcons as well. I mean, I think it would just be Jaren Hall just doesn't have it. Not that he doesn't have it, but yeah.
Thoughts on Tony Pollard rest of the year? You know, I will say I no longer view him as like a potential top 5 finish, but I think he's a lock as like a top 15 finisher. The good news is he is still the guy dominating opportunities there. It's just not worked out for him. But a game where they need him and it's a tough matchup versus the Eagles, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes up and puts up maybe his best game this year, right? I mean, that's just kind of how it works sometimes with these kind of matchups in the NFC East. But they'll need him. I think they'll utilize him through the year. And I would view him as a top 10 to 15 running back rest of the year.
Yeah, I would agree there. I would agree. I'm not going to add too much. Actually, he says choose 3, Garrett Wilson, Olave, Flowers, Devonta Smith. It'll be Garrett Wilson, Olave, and Devonta Smith for me.
It would be Garrett Wilson, Olave, and Devonta Smith for me as well. Yeah.
Okay. Donald Smith, good evening, my ninjas. Giants or Falcons defense? I will be going Falcons here. I will take the chance on the Falcons, personally. But Giants also have a good opportunity, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I agree. Chris, Waller for a bit. Who do I pick up? Okonkwo, Musgrave, K-Dot, and Bellinger. You know, it's funny. I brought Okonkwo as a stash in today's video. And the good thing about Okonkwo is Okay, so let's start. The bad thing about Okonkwo is if you need a tight end this week, it's not ideal to play him because there's just a lot of unknowns. But the good thing is if you need to kind of maybe find a stash at the tight end position for the future, you can stash him. If he has a good game, you keep him on your bench. If he doesn't have a good game on Thursday Night Football, you can drop him and free up that space on your bench for the waiver wire for the weekend. But if you're asking me this week, who would I rather start? It's Musgrave of these options.
Yeah, it will be Musgrave of these options as well for me. Man, I think if Chig catches that pass and goes for a touchdown, we're saying Chig. That is crazy that he dropped it, by the way. If you haven't, go watch those highlights because he was wide open.
That's fair. I mean, he's also not going to have that kind of coverage versus Steelers, but I definitely get what you mean. It's just like, well, the Steelers are a different game. Hard to really rely. Like, so if he caught that touchdown, would you confidently start him this week, you're saying? Because I still would have questions.
I would say that I'd say we would be a little bit more confident in starting him.
Okay.
Like, we would say, like, look at this production. He caught a touchdown. He had maybe over 60 yards. We would have been like, look, like, you know, he catches that ball. It goes 5 for 6. Sure. It's a better outing for him coming into this week.
We did just get a super chat, by the way, unless you had anything else on that.
No, I was just,
No worries. Brian, thank you for the donation. Would you target Adams in a buy low? You know, to me, I'll be honest, I don't know how you read this situation. By the way, released the stash video, recorded that before any Aiden O'Connell news. Hopefully anyone out there in Superflex leagues, you were able to stash Aiden O'Connell. Not that he's going to be a league winner, but in a Superflex or a 2-quarterback league, you may have found some value. I don't know if you saw in our Superflex home league, Badaki, I picked him up before that video released. But what I will say is, to me, this is good news for Davante Adams. It's a small sample size, but the one game where we saw Aiden O'Connell play, he saw 13 targets. I think that Davante Adams has a lot of influence over this team. And to me, the firing of Josh McDaniels is almost like an endorsement of Davante Adams from the ownership of like, we get it, dude. We get it. We're going to try and fix it. So I would say yes, but the question is always, what will it cost you?
Yeah. I think that's my biggest thing here.
Could you send a Deontay Johnson? I would absolutely do it. You know, could you send a DK Metcalf? For sure. Could you send honestly, Garrett Wilson? I think I'd rather have Devontae still. That is close though.
Yeah.
I'd rather have him over Olave right now. So it depends on what it would cost.
Yeah, it depends on what it will cost, and it also depends on like, are you just getting Adams as another addition to your team, or are you getting Adams as someone that can help you as a pillar to your team? Because I think if you have to view those in two different lights, because I'm not buying Adams in hopes that he is going to be a 15-plus point game every single week. I mean, leading up. I mean, I also think that we might see a rotation with Brian Hoyer and Aiden O'Connell, which in reality probably doesn't affect him.
They've already like kind of committed to saying Brian Hoyer's not our backup after his awful performance versus dude. Brian Hoyer couldn't score against the Bears.
Hey, look, and that's
it's gonna be the rookie Aiden O'Connell. Like, you got more grace for him making mistakes, I think, as an organization than Brian Hoyer or the vet.
And that's fair. So I think it just all depends on what you need on your team as well. So hopefully that helps Brian.
I still believe that Davante Adams will finish as a top 12 wide receiver. He's the wide receiver 13 right now. I still believe. And this happens every year. You look at a player, they go through a bad stretch, and then they kind of hit their zone. Davante Adams, I still believe, is one of the top 3 wide receivers in the NFL. Top 3 to 5, you could say. Like, he is going to demand targets. I think he will come through for you. So I like a buy low depending on the price.
Elijah, thank you so much for the super chat. He said pick 2, DeMarcado, Henderson, Pierce, Tajay, and Wilson. Wilson as in Garrett Wilson? Which Wilson is this?
I'm trying to think of maybe that's Jeff Wilson. He's named all running backs, so that's probably Jeff.
Is that Jeff Wilson? For me, it will be Henderson and then DeMarcado.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. And it honestly, like, That's a tough question. You must be in a tough spot, Elijah. But I get it, dude.
Yeah, he said Jeff Wilson.
Because in my home Superflex league, I'm starting Royce Freeman and Devin Singletary. So I get it. I get the pain. But yeah, those are the guys that I would project getting the most volume.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, don't love DeMarco's matchup, but still, you're going to have to roll with him. But we appreciate the Super Chat, guys, going all the way back to the top here.
Yeah.
I think the last one was Sergio, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we're answering questions top to bottom, guys. The only way we go out of order is if there's a super chat. Sergio's the next one. And do us a favor. Help us get to 50 likes. We are only 15 likes away from 50. So we just need 15 of you to hit that like button, help the channel grow. So smash that like for us, that like button. But the next question from top to bottom is from Sergio. Go ahead.
He says, how's it going? He said, needs help. Which 4 do I start this week? All wide receivers. Okay, I mean, you have all these guys I feel like should be started. Stephon Diggs, you start. I'm starting Garrett Wilson and T. Higgins as well. And then it's either between Amari Cooper or Deontay Johnson for me. And it will probably be Amari Cooper.
So we can only pick 4? So,
yeah.
Well, for me, the 4 would be Diggs, Olave, Wilson, Higgins.
Oh, sorry. Yes. I picked 5 because I said Diggs, Olave, Wilson, and then Cooper.
Yeah, it would be Diggs, Olave, Wilson, Higgins for me.
Say less. I'm with you there. That's just me misunderstanding.
That's
Jimmy,
okay. We did just get a super chat.
We get another one.
So let's get to that straight away to prioritize that donation. Thank you, Steven. Appreciate you. He says, Pickens, Addison, Amari Cooper, DJ Moore. Which 3? Pickens is so tough to gauge this week because it is a good matchup, but you got Kenny Pickett who might play, and he is probably going to be dealing with a rib injury. We know he will if he plays.
Look, it sounds terrible, but probably the best thing for anyone is that he gets injured again. It sounds terrible.
Let's assume that if he plays, he's probably going to play the whole game.
Yeah, but one hit can knock him out. And would we be surprised about that? You know?
No, I get it, but I'm not going to make a start-sit decision based on him maybe getting injured.
I'm not saying that. I'm basing it off that.
Right. I hear you.
I think wasn't weather a thing?
I'll just quickly say that Pickens would be the one I would sit of those 3.
Addison, Amari, DJ Moore. Yes, I would. As well.
I could see Pickens absolutely returning value for people who start him, but I don't know, guys. I mean, what if he doesn't score that touchdown? You're not even considering starting him this week, you know? Like if he doesn't score that one touchdown, which he's deserving of because he made an incredible play last week. But it's weird. This was the first week Deontay Johnson was a full-time player, and he was peppered with targets. And we saw a breakout from Pickens. It's like, what are you doing? Give Pickens the ball a little more. Anyway, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Hopefully that helps, Steven. We got another super chat from Alberto, which I believe this is the Mexican currency, which is that pesos? MX?
Yeah, pesos. I think it's pesos.
Maybe what currency is MX? I just want to give a shout out to where he's from. Mexican pesos. So shout out to Mexico. That's awesome. Where in Mexico? Go ahead.
Mi gente Alberto.
Yes. I don't know what that means. I know my family, right?
My people.
My people. Okay. Well, anyway, shout out to Mexico. I wonder where in Mexico he's from. But Alberto says start a running back 2. This is a smash on Hubbard for me. I am so excited for Hubbard this week. You know, he had a lot of opportunities last week, and it just didn't turn into fantasy points. But he has another great matchup, and we have the confidence to start him now as he's dominating that backfield. So this would be Chuba Hubbard for me, my RB17 on the week.
Agreed. You start Chuba Hubbard with confidence here.
I'll just say as well, I don't know about you, but I found doing my rankings this week, this was like my least favorite week to do rankings so far.
I just don't think anyone...
It wasn't fun.
There's so many question marks coming into this week, I think, than we've ever had so far this year.
Yeah.
With all the quarterback injuries. I would say this. Henderson is a close second in the starts as well.
Sure.
Especially playing the Green Bay Packers, who currently give up a lot of points to the running back position. If I'm not mistaken, the 6th most points to the running back position. But I actually really love Chuba Hubbard's opportunity coming in. I don't think he's at the moment he's taking 80% of the workload. So where Henderson is getting like a 50-50, at least that's what we're expecting. So thank you so much, Alberto. Here we did get another super
donation.
Chat.
By the way, Alberto, let us know just with a comment where you're from in Mexico. That's awesome. We love to see people international around the world. That's cool. Cameron says trade Jacoby, Flowers for Saquon or JT. Jacoby and Flowers for Saquon and JT.
Or JT.
If you can get Saquon for Jacoby and Flowers, it looks like you're saying it's an option. Like you can get Saquon for Jacoby. If that's an option, then you should do that in a heartbeat. But yeah, either one of those wide receivers or both of those wide receivers, I would trade away to get Saquon. What about you?
Yeah, I would too. I would trade both or either one. 100%. Give me say, baby.
Brian with a donation here. Thank you for your donation. My wide receiver core is Waddle, Godwin, Higgins, Hopkins. Running backs he's showing us. I want to target Adams. Who would you offer? So I think, honestly, Brian, and this is not a cop-out, this is genuinely the best advice we could give you, because we could sit here and say, go send this offer, go try this. We will give you an idea. But the best thing you could actually do is ask the person who owns Davante Adams, because it doesn't matter what we think. It matters what he thinks. The only way you're getting a deal done is by negotiating with him. What I would say is, honestly, I'd try and turn Hopkins into Adams. What about you? Like, I would try and go Hopkins Moss for Adams.
Yeah, I think that is really the only one I'm willing to move away from. You know, I'd rather keep Waddle, Godwin, and Higgins. The only one I would try to move is Hopkins, but I think you would have to add a bigger piece because of how big his name is, unfortunately. And if he goes and asks for Higgins or Godwin or any of those wide receivers or running backs, I would rather just hold out on the trade. Brian,
I would be willing to do Godwin and Moss, or Higgins and Moss. Both, or sorry, not Higgins. Godwin and Moss or D Hop and Moss. I'd be willing to do.
Yeah, I think for me, Godwin has kind of picked up, even though I was kind of off him. You know, from weeks 4 to 8, he's kind of been a little bit more consistent where I was hoping for him to be. So I would rather keep Chris Godwin over Davante Adams, but
really,
that may sound crazy.
Straight up, you're taking Godwin.
I think he's going to bring more consistency in a lower floor standpoint, depending on what you need. So, like, I feel more comfortable with the consistency that he's going to get me 12 plus points, which I understand that Davante Adams can get you that high, crazy ceiling every single week. But we've seen the crazy low points from Davante Adams, 8, 4, 2. Obviously, it's very rare to see that from Davante Adams, and it's hard to envision that continuing. But I just need safety.
I'm rolling that as an outlier, and like I want to win my league. I don't think Godwin's going to help me win my league, but I do think that if Davante Adams turns it around, he could be the reason I win my league. That's just my personal opinion, but
yeah, I would agree there.
I definitely hear what you're saying. We got another donation from Easy Vanya. Thank you for the donation. We appreciate you. RB2, wide receiver 2, and flex. So RB2 here, I'm going Cook. I think Cook has a good game. I know Lenny just got signed. We'll see what his involvement will be. Maybe that's more of a Latavius Murray issue rather than a James Cook issue. But what I will say is, in this matchup, I want bodies. Bills, Bengals, 2 high-powered offenses. I want bodies in this. I want Kincaid. I want Diggs. I want Higgins. Bodies. I want Chase. I want Mixon. I want James Cook. At wide receiver, it would probably be... Actually, this is easy. It would be Downs and then Deontay as your... Actually, swap those because Deontay's on Thursday night. So to answer, James Cook, Deontay, and then flex Downs.
And flex, exactly. Well, I completely agree. Hopefully that helps. Easy. Vanya. Dutch Vidanya.
So those are all the super chats we have for today. So we're answering questions from top to bottom, guys, unless there's a super chat. The next one is from Jimmy T. All we ask is in return that you hit that like button for us. A simple way for you to help this channel grow. 10 likes away from 50. So go ahead and smash that like button for us. Jordan Love or Sam Howell in Dynasty, Badaki. We actually, funnily enough, this is a perfect plug for our Dynasty channel.
Oh yeah. Put it up, baby.
We literally just recorded a updated Dynasty quarterback rankings video yesterday, and we released it today. I will go ahead and put that link to our channel in the chat. And you can see it's that first video right there. But this is our Dynasty channel. It will be absolutely pumping during the offseason. So if you're a Dynasty guy, definitely go subscribe. But we did just release our Dynasty quarterback rankings updated. And for me, at least, I had Sam Howell ahead of Jordan Love. What about you?
Yeah, I do have Sam Howell as well ahead of Jordan Love. I mean, we kind of speak about Jordan Love a little bit in depth and how we kind of believe that if he doesn't pick it up at the end of the season, the Green Bay Packers can easily be in contention of a top 5. I mean, if the season ended right now, the Green Bay Packers have a top 6 pick in the NFL draft. So we won't be surprised if they make a move for a quarterback. So definitely Sam Howell. You can see how they're kind of cleaning house as well. Looks like Ron Rivera is going to move. It looks like he's going to be they're going to be a middle of the pack team once again. You know,
the good thing for Sam Howell as well, when you think about these moves, there's always a reaction for fantasy that we kind of need to think about. And the low-key one that not many people are talking about is Washington almost becomes a fantasy factory in the sense of mini Minnesota last year. Minnesota, terrible defense, had to throw the ball all the time. You lose Chase Young, Montez Sweat. You lose most of your ability to pressure the defense. And we already were 31st in points allowed. Like, Sam Howell's going to be throwing the ball a lot in most games. So I think he has a chance for his value to raise. Whereas Jordan Love is fighting for his job, I think, every week. Donald Smith says, pick one, Warren, Chuba Hubbard, or Rashawn Johnson. This would be Chuba for me.
Chuba as well.
Singletary or Tyler Algier this week. Tyler Algier went back to his role of, not playing as many snaps last week with Bijan healthy. He played 22% of the snaps, only had 8 carries. Now he plays Minnesota, which sounds like a good matchup, but it really hasn't been. Minnesota's not a good matchup. This would be Singletary for me.
Yeah, it would be Singletary for me as well. Don't love the match. I mean, Tampa Bay Bucks also give up not that many points to the running back
not
position.
A good matchup, by the
but
way.
If you think about it, you're hoping for those PPR opportunities from Singletary. So hopefully he does get the work through the air. Chris, he says, is Leonard Fournette worth picking up? Drop for Bigsby or Spears? I think he is worth picking up. I would say this. I don't think he is. I think he's a depth piece because of how maybe serious this Damian Harris injury is. I personally, and this is not like my James Cook belief, genuinely, I just personally don't believe he's going to be eating into James Cook's workload. I think he's eating more into Latavius, and he takes over that Latavius role because we've seen Latavius struggle. And James Cook has been efficient on the ground. So I think he's more of a goal line type of guy that he's going to be punching it in. Not saying he can't eat into the workload, just saying that he's going to be taking over the Latavius role, and they need the depth because of Damian Harris. But worth picking up, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is a tough one because I do believe that Leonard Fournette could develop a role that's really annoying for James Cook owners. Like more annoying than what we've seen from Damian Harris and Latavius Murray. Because he's a good pass catcher.
Because he brings some more.
The only value he's had for an NFL team in the past 3 years is his pass catching prowess, However, you're not dropping him for Spears. And if you were to drop Bigsby and ET and went down this week, you would regret that so much. So I want to stash Fournette, but not if it means dropping one of those guys.
Yeah.
How about Elijah Moore? How are you feeling about him rest of the year, Badaki?
Oh, man. I mean, I don't think I can actually... The way I'm feeling right now, I don't think I can blame Elijah Moore. As like he's just not talented enough. He's just not getting the opportunity. I just think the offense has been inefficient with Deshaun Watson and with PJ Walker, and he gets the targets. He's just not getting the depth per target, which is unfortunate. And I think that's something that they were going to hopefully incorporate with Deshaun Watson down the road. We just haven't seen that, obviously, because Deshaun Watson has been injured. But rest of the season, he's not startable. You probably had to drop him for other players on the waiver wire that is going to bring more value to you. So
yeah, he's a name that I would like. When you look at him and Dotson, they were kind of similarly ranked coming into the year, but people had more belief in Dotson, obviously. But you look at those two guys rest of the season. I think I have confidence to keep Dotson. Don't know that I feel that way about Elijah, though. Like in a redraft league, it's like,
Completely agree.
Probably could drop this guy at this point.
Yeah.
We did just get a super chat, so let's make sure we get to that straight away. Thank you for the donation. Just do it. Shout out to Nike, friend of the show. Thank you for the donation. Drop Ford for Hubbard. Drop Dell for Higgins. Well, you absolutely drop Tank Dell for Higgins if that's an option.
Completely agree.
And that's not because we don't like Tank Dell. We do. But Higgins should not be available on any waiver wire in any format. But as far as Ford for Hubbard, that is very tough. I imagine if Higgins is available, this is probably an 8 or 10 man league, Badaki. And I would rather have Hubbard than Ford. I'm just going to be honest. I'll put it out there. I would rather have Hubbard than Ford. Okay. I do believe that Kareem Hunt is at minimum going to be 50% of this backfield. And we have already seen with Hubbard this week, at least, it's trending towards him being the guy. And that's what you want with fantasy. You want those opportunities.
Yeah, look, it makes sense. I still want Jerome Ford. I think he is on the overall better offense. He does get opportunity in the air, and he does get goal line work. He does split, but I think the upside is significantly higher with Jerome Ford, even if Chuba Hubbard gets all the opportunities, personally.
Okay.
So give me Jerome Ford.
Makes sense. By the way, did you see your New York Football Giants, former New York Football Giant, Leonard Williams, says he's excited to be on a winning team following his trade from the Giants. Any thoughts or comments as a Giants fan?
I think if you watch the interview, I think it's taken out of context. But
okay,
he probably says, "Yeah, like I am excited to be on a winning team," and then he goes on, because they asked him the question. Are you excited to be?
Is this
it's just
media?
It's just like another. I mean, first of all, I'll be excited to be on the winning team. Number one. I mean, for sure. I go for a 2 to 6 to 6 and 2.
I'm sure Chase Young is thrilled to be on the Niners.
100%, and I'm pretty sure he would say the same thing.
Yeah.
I just think it's taken out of context, but I'm not really that upset about it.
All right,
we got a second round pick for my guy, so
yeah, we're going top to bottom with these questions. We appreciate y'all. Update: we are 2 likes away from 50. Help us hit that 50 like goal. That would be awesome. But Nicholas is the next one in order. Trade Zay Flowers and Swift for Tay and Mixon. So I prefer Devontae over Flowers rest of the year, even though I love Flowers. But I do prefer Swift over Mixon. That is tough.
I agree as well.
What I will say is Mixon was fine and the Bengals were awful. I think that's something that we have to keep in mind. Like, the Bengals for most of this year have been awful. Now they're finally hitting their stride. And I think that will mean more good Joe Mixon games on the way as the offense gets better, more opportunities for you to score a rushing touchdown. So this is close for me. I'm willing to take the shot on Devontae there. Devontae and Joe Mixon for me. It's close, though.
Yeah, for me, it is close. Just looking at these averages, I think this is what I'm basing it off on. DeAndre Swift, over 15 points per game. Joe Mixon is going to continue to improve, but he's currently, as I'm trying to find him right now.
Right, but do you expect, to me, I
do expect him. Look, I did say that he's a buy low for me. Like, I brought him 2 weeks ago as a buy low.
What I'm saying is, do you expect there to be a huge difference on a per game basis between Mixon and Swift rest of the year? Because I don't personally think that there will be like a 5 to 10 point difference between those two names. Well, that is quite drastic. But I don't expect like a 5 to 6 point difference. I think it would more be like 1 to 3. Whereas with Devontae Adams, I still believe he could be a league winner if things turn around for him.
Yeah. I think I'm leaning towards Zay and Swift, and this is because, and I love Mixon. I just think I'm thinking about the floor consistency with Zay and Swift. And honestly, as much as I've been telling you guys to buy Mixon, you haven't seen that with Mixon, and you haven't seen that with Devontae Adams.
I think you've seen a lot of floor with Mixon.
A good, decent floor.
He scored over 10 points in most of his games. And
that's why I'm saying, like, when I look at DeAndre Swift, he has scored significantly more. I don't know what the difference is when you think of that. I think that's what I'm thinking of. I can get the hella high upside with DeAndre Swift versus Joe Mixon, but still have that safe floor with Swift.
No, and at the moment, I definitely hear what you're saying. It's just outside of that one game where he had 28 carries, he's not had an over 20 point game. So it's kind of like there's been a high and a low, and then I feel like he's been good. Anyway, it is close.
Yeah, it is close. I mean, just depends, I guess.
But looking at DeAndre Swift as the RB5 on the year so far, I think people have been happy, but it doesn't feel like RB5 scoring. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, yeah, I can definitely see it.
It's close. Dallas or Falcons defense this week, Badaki. I think we've said this a lot of times. You just typically don't sit a defense like Dallas. So
I would say
it's
this.
a tough matchup,
I mean,
but I don't sit a defense that is that good. I don't sit the Browns. You know, I don't sit the Cowboys. They create so many turnovers and sacks.
Yeah, I would agree. Just know that it's going to be a high scoring game. And if you get one defensive touchdown or something big, then that changes it. You know, I mean, think of the Raiders. They lost. They were having a bad game. They scored that touchdown. They scored 15 points, if I'm not mistaken, this past week. But it was still bad for them, you know? Yeah. So anything can happen.
We did just get a super chat, so let's make sure we answer that straight away from Miguel. Miguel, thank you for the donation, man. He says, not sure who to start at quarterback this week. Hal, Minshew, or Levis? Let's start with that first question. Let's go ahead and rule out Levis. Look, Levis could be great, but it would genuinely, and you know, people hate when you use the word process, but I truly think it's the wrong process to start Levis with these options. Like, I'm starting him in a super flex league because I have to. But if Hal and Minshew are options, we've seen more consistency from them. We've seen bigger games more consistently from those two names. Right. So it would be Hal for me of these options.
Yeah, it will be Hal for me as well. I picked him up both waiver wires this week. I'm going to be starting him in one of our home leagues. So I need to. Yeah, I'll be going Sam Howell there.
Also need a running back, Rachaad White, Moss, or Hubbard this week. This would probably be Hubbard for me.
Really?
Actually, it's Rachaad White. My bad. I had to double check that. It is Rachaad White. My bad. Great matchup.
I'm going Rachaad. Yeah, going Rachaad White this week here. Hopefully that helps, Miguel. We appreciate you, brother.
Yes, thank you for your donation, man. The next question in order is from Bryce. Is my lineup good this week? Jalen, AJ Brown, Pittman, Kamara, Mixon, Goddard, and Terry. I mean, that looks like a great lineup. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you should feel confident. But it sounds like a smaller league, which means there might be a lot of good teams out there. But I do like the lineup.
You like it as
Austin
well.
Johnson says, thoughts on the trade Nico for Ridley full PPR? Who would you rather have, Nico Collins or Calvin Ridley rest of the year?
I mean, I'm still going Calvin Ridley.
Same.
But it's closer than we think. And thoughts on Atlanta's defense? They should have a good defense. I mean, you expect a lot of mistakes from Jaren Hall here. So keep that in mind. Titans. I traded Thielen for Bijan. Is that a good trade? Yes, we would take Bijan. I think it also depends on what you need. Does it have Waddle to replace Thielen with CD and Cup? I mean,
sounds great then. Sounds like you had too many good players. You were sitting one on your bench each week, and it sounds like you got, a reliable running back now that you can start.
Yeah, completely agree. Adam says start 2, D-Hop, DK, Addison, Deontay. Man, is it crazy to say the one that I feel most confident out of all these guys is Deontay Johnson?
No, I don't think it's crazy to say that.
I'm not confident starting Addison.
I know DK. My answer. It would be DK and Deontay for me.
Yeah, and DK, that's where I would be going here as well. It should be a high scoring game against the Ravens. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Run says start Logan Thomas or McBride. I would be going Logan Thomas here personally. Not sure where you would go. I'm not going to start McBride this week. Just I need to see it first, and then just hope that I'm happy to sit him this week, get a safe floor with Logan Thomas, even if it's 5 points.
I just think there's already so much volatility at the tight end position. Why not start the guy who just got 14 targets? And I understand that it's a different quarterback, but I don't think Logan Thomas has had 14 targets in his career. I'm not sure that he's ever. Let me double check, but so for me, the way I'm thinking about it is like, look, there's already so much volatility. He had 16 targets in 2020.
Logan Thomas is currently averaging 10 points per game at the moment, and McBride is averaging 7.
Well, McBride
Um,
was a backup until this week.
no, I know, and
I don't
look,
think
we
that's
can't
a
really
very fair
compare.
comparison, but
I don't
look,
think we compare, but
it's close, but I expect the Browns to be able to score on this team, and I expect them to need to throw the ball to Trey McBride, rookie tight end, typically, or rookie wide receiver, or quarterback. Jeez,
typically pepper their tight
their
end.
tight end is important to them. I think you could go either way. I don't think you can make a wrong move here. I don't think this is going to win or lose your week, but it would just be McBride for me based off of how important he was to the offense last week.
That's fair. That's fair. Shane says, is it worth giving up either Lockett or Addison for T. Higgins?
Either.
I would say yeah, whichever one.
I prefer giving up Lockett, but
Lockett, yeah.
Either.
I would agree there. Whoopsie. Whoopsie. Which other side of the movie? Blue cheese. Rashad White, Gus the Bus, or Chuba. Pick one. I'm assuming you have to go with one here. I mean, Gus is picking it up the past couple weeks though, but playing against the Seahawks this week, I mean, you don't expect to have the easiest match. Now they get Leonard Williams,
it's
the
Rashad
big
White
cat
for
from
me.
the Giants. It is Rashad White for me.
Yeah.
But look, Gus has been picking it up. I don't think this is the best matchup for him. He had 2 back-to-back good matchups. Well, not really good matchups, but
Keith Lee.
Lions different.
By the way, you know Keith Lee, right?
Keith Lee, yeah.
This is Keith Lee.
Keith Lee. You
As
love
in
to see it.
LeBron James. Rashid Shaheed, Gus Edwards, or Zach Moss. You know, I'm ruling out Shaheed. It's between Edwards and Moss. And I think you got to go Edwards here.
Yeah, this is where I'll go Gus. I feel, look, Zach Moss could have a good game going against the Panthers. We said that last week again about Dameon Pierce, and look what happened.
Well,
but
I didn't tell anyone to start him.
I'm saying I said that, right? Yeah. I get what you're saying, but like, I'll take Gus Edwards here.
We did just get a donation, so let's get to that. Bleezo Gotti Dagod. Bleezo Gotti Dagod.
That was just the whitest way you said that.
I know. Well, I am white.
You love to see it. You are white. I mean, we love white people here.
Okay.
7-1 team trade Ridley or Laporta for big old Devon. Pick up McBride.
I would trade Ridley for HN.
And then pick up McBride. Yeah, I would do that as well. I'm keeping Laporta. I don't want to trade Laporta away. And then have McBride as a tight end personally. So keep Laporta, trade Ridley for a chain.
Yeah.
A chan.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps.
And ideally, what would happen is you would see McBride have a couple good games and use him as a selling piece instead of Laporta. But there's a scenario in which Kyler Murray comes back and you got 2 guys you can flex, or you got 2 stars that you could trade. You know,
he's worth picking up. That's for sure.
Oh,
if he's available. Doubt. If he's available, I would say this: try everything to get him on your team.
But he already picked him up. He already picked him up. He said.
Oh yeah, picked up McBride. Okay, say less.
If we're choosing between Ridley or Laporta, I'm still sending Ridley. You don't send a more valuable piece just because you have another tight end. You know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So hopefully that is helpful. Thank you for that donation, man. Very kind to you. The next question is in order. Excuse me, is from Shane. Darren Waller and McBride this week. I don't think Waller's playing, so that answers your question.
Exactly.
Nick says Dotson or Rice. I'm going Rice this week.
I'm going Rice this week as well.
I love Rashee Rice. I cannot wait to talk about him in a video this week. But I think he has a big game. McBride, Thomas, or Njoku. This is where I go McBride, but I think you go Thomas.
I would actually go Njoku here.
Okay.
I like Njoku coming in, especially with PJ.
Sure.
PJ Walker's kind of been, David Njoku's kind of been PJ's favorite target here, fair. So I'll take Njoku.
I can understand. My only concern is they won't need to throw the ball versus this team, but
that's fair. That
I can understand where you're coming from.
Olave, Higgins, or Rice, pick 2.
Start your stars.
Yep, Olave and Higgins here.
100%.
Chris says 12-team quarterback Superflex Dynasty half PPR. Two quarterbacks, excuse me. Got an offer. Give Cup for Derrick Henry and Darnell Mooney. I'm thinking of countering and asking for Saquon, or Eckler. Mixon and Gus Edwards are my starters.
So if you can turn Cup into Saquon, that's ideal here. If you can turn him into Eckler, I would also be willing to do that. But I don't want to devalue Derrick Henry. It's just he's probably not on this team next year. And that's probably not good for his dynasty value because this team is literally built around him. And I don't know that that happens again as a free agent in that part of his career. I think he goes to help and complement a team. So,
agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Completely. If not, what you can do, depending on your record, is try and get picks, whatever that looks like.
Or if you are 6-2, did he say that?
He didn't say what his record was.
Sorry, I just assume he's competing if he's making those moves. You could just hold and wait for Stafford to come back and sell Cup higher.
Yeah, hopefully that helps there. Gavin, he says start 2 PPR, Aaron Jones, Ramondre Moss. I'm going Ramondre for sure. And I don't think it's crazy to have the conversation about Zach Moss over Aaron Jones here.
I don't think it's crazy to talk about it either. But
yeah, I mean, we say it all the time, start your stars, but this is where you come to a point. He's still limited, 51% of the snap share. I mean, what, 7 plus 5? What's that?
Yeah,
13?
no, he's not.
13 attempts?
He's making some silly mistakes too. Look,
it just doesn't seem like someone you can trust until he proves that he's going to get the opportunity. And Zach Moss is still losing opportunity, but is still finding the end zone.
Yeah. Honestly, I will go Zach Moss there.
Yeah, I would go Zach Moss over Aaron Jones. That's crazy to say.
And it could absolutely bite you in the ass. Like, I'm 100% aware of that, but
yeah,
it's tough to start Aaron at right now. Giants or Texans defense this week. Raiders are available too, he says. That's a close call. I think Raiders might be my preference. What about you?
For me, it will be the Giants.
Giants?
Yeah, it would be the Giants for me.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, look, I would say this.
I can see it, but yeah, it would be Raiders for me.
Yeah, I can see both of these guys, both of these teams eating defensively. Sets, 10-team PPR. Lawrence on a buy and Kyler not active yet. Who should I pick up off waiver wires and start this week? Levis, Daniel Jones, Mayfield, Minshew, Young, or Pickett?
So 2 names came to me instantly was Minshew and Bryce Young.
Yeah, those are the 2 I would go there.
And Minshew would be the one I would start.
Agreed. Appreciate you. Sets Richard, Douglas, or Downs at the flex given no pass rush for Washington, Logan Thomas, or McBride. I think we would both go Josh Downs here.
We would. I think Douglas is a sneaky play, but
100%.
I would
high upside play coming into this week, I would say.
Love Douglas in DFS lineups.
And then we answer this question. Zach will go McBride. I will go Logan Thomas. So hopefully that helps. Victor, should I flex Deontay Johnson over Rashad White this week? I'm going Deontay Johnson. It's a good question, though. I mean, both these guys getting peppered with targets.
It is a good question. The Bucks play the Texans. How about Rashad White?
Come
on, baby.
Talk it up against the Bills.
Rashad White, the people who held on, look at you.
Look at you.
Rashad White or Deontay Johnson. Look, we can't expect Rashad White to get 70 receiving yards. I mean, he got 65 the week before, but Houston, that is close. I'll go Deontay. It is very close. I just like his matchup a little bit better, and I know Rashad's facing Houston, but Houston is not as bad as they were last year defensively.
Yeah.
We did just get a super chat, so let's get to that. Miguel, sorry guys, forgot to add. How are we feeling about Danny Dimes versus the Raiders? Well, you're a Giants fan. I'll just quickly say my piece. He's not touching my lineup, but it'll be good to see him out there. I don't know. I mean, what do you have to say about it as a Giants fan?
I would say this. If you have to start him, you're not starting him with confidence. Maybe you're struggling with injuries. You're struggling with quarterbacks or bye weeks. Don't expect a big game. They have to get something going. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah.
I would say this as well. Expect a couple deep passes. Maybe Jalen Hyatt gets a touchdown today or on the Sunday.
What would you send in Dynasty for Daniel Jones in a super flex league? Like,
Well,
I don't even know if I'm comfortable sending like a second. I think if I could do 2/3 though, I'd take the shot.
I would say this. Depends how many games we win. Because if we're in the middle of the pack, if we land 14 and later, I think he's worth the second round pick.
Okay,
but
I can see that.
Because they're not going to be giving up the house to trade up for one of these quarterbacks. I think
14 will put them too far away from a team who wants to trade down.
But if
I would say if they have a top 10
before
pick,
that, 100%.
It's
Top 10
pretty
pick,
dangerous. Yeah.
You are struggling with Daniel Jones in the dynasty for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was the last super chat. Thank you, Miguel. Appreciate you, man. Hopefully that is helpful. The next question in order is from Jerisko. I was on the CJ Stroud side. I haven't done the trade yet. Since y'all said y'all would take the Herb side, I'm gonna do that trade. Okay, no worries. Best of luck. Definitely what we would do. DJ Moore or Mark Cooper?
We lost a lot of questions in between there, by the way.
Did we?
Brunelli, I don't know if you can see it. Can you go up?
I'm sorry, Brunelli. No. Go ahead. You're right. Brunelli was next. That's my bad.
No, it's all good. Traded Olave and Akers for Debo. I think I want the Debo side.
Debo over Olave. You know, I'm still Olave, guys. I know it's not been good. But in the last 3 weeks, Olave's had 10 targets, 15 targets, and 9 targets. He clearly leads this team. He's clearly the number one, you know. And him and Derek Carr just have to get on the same page. I think that will click at some point. To me, Olave's a buy low right now. Whereas with Debo, this was one of the reasons I told people to avoid him this year. Not the injury, but just because of how he is when everyone's healthy. When Kittle's healthy, when Ayuk is healthy, at some points he might not even get 7 targets during those games. So he's important to their real team. He's a great fantasy player, but I think Olave has the higher upside rest of the year.
Yeah, I think the way we have seen this team struggle, I think it makes me believe that Debo plays a huge part to this offense. I think in real life and in fantasy.
I think he does, but that more opens up the game for other players. I don't think that means, you know, it's the Debo show when he's back.
Yeah. Yeah, I will go Debo. He will go on the Olave side, but we appreciate that. Thank you so much. Samuel said 2 different half PPR leagues. I think we answered this one.
Yeah, that was one that we answered. Himothy was the next one.
Yeah, half PPR. Should I start Gus Edwards or Aaron Jones? I think we would both go Gus Edwards here.
Yeah.
Sounds crazy.
We would.
It sounds crazy, but yeah.
Let's get to Mr. Anderson. DJ Moore or Amari Cooper?
Anderson.
This would be Amari Cooper for me.
Yeah, it'd be Amari Cooper for me as well.
Like the matchup, and PJ Walker hasn't been as bad as Tyson Badgett, unfortunately, the old teabag.
The old Baggett.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, what can you do?
King Him says Hurts on bye next week. Many cool quarterbacks on the waivers. I love that. Would have to drop Rice if I stash this week. No. You don't drop Rashee Rice.
No.
Maybe this is a smaller league, but overall, I wouldn't be comfortable dropping Rashee Rice before this game versus Miami. Patrick Mahomes, the next one. He says, "Can Sun God and Laporta coexist? Because I already have St. Brown and Laporta. Both will have to start next week with Kelsey on bye." I mean, they have both. They have coexisted all year so far.
Yeah, I mean,
Sam Laporta is the tight end 3 on the year. Amon-Ra St. Brown's a wide receiver 9, and he missed a game. So he's on a per game basis, I believe, even higher than that.
I mean, just think of the game last week. I mean, 19 points for Laporta, 16 points for Amon-Ra. Even the week before, 11 points for Sam Laporta, 23 points for Amon-Ra. They're coexisting already, my guy.
Yeah, they are coexisting.
But again, you love Kelsey because he's with. By the way, Patrick Mahoney, how's Taylor?
She won't be at
Anyways.
the games.
Unfortunate.
Greg, what's up, Greg? 12-man PPR. I'm 7-1. Trade T-Law, Swift, and Dobbs for Jalen Hurts and Tony Pollard. Trade T-Law, Swift, and Dobbs.
Jalen Hurts and Tony Pollard.
I want the.
You see, this is difficult.
I want the Hurts and Pollard side. I want the Hurts and Pollard side.
Yeah, I want Hurts too, but I don't love Pollard. I feel more comfortable with Swift.
And I hear that. I just don't think there will be that big of a difference between them rest of the year.
Yeah, I think it's a big difference right now with Jalen Hurts. I think that's what's pulling me there. Daniel, trade away Bijan and Godwin and receive Eckler and DK. Easy W, right?
I would say it's pretty even. I do prefer Eckler over Bijan rest of the year. And I do prefer DK over Godwin. So, but it's not like a drastic difference. But yeah, I would say I prefer both of the players that you got over the ones you sent away.
Yeah, I would agree. And I like their offenses better. And I think that's a pretty big thing when it comes down to game plans as well. Yeah. Travis, is offering Higgins plus Flowers too much for Waddle? Yes.
Yeah, I think so, because I still view Higgins and Waddle kind of similarly rest of the year. You could do Higgins for Waddle, but Higgins and Flowers is a little bit too much of an ask. Now, if you're in an 8-man league, you might be able to make the case for it, but in a 12-man, that's too much. Gibby, what's up, Gibby? 12-team PPR, need help with the flex. Start Rashawn, Hollywood, or Demario Douglas. So this is the point where I would be comfortable still trying Hollywood. I like Demario Douglas as a play. But I'm gonna trust Hollywood over Demario Douglas right now. Love Pop Douglas. Been talking about him a lot on this channel in our stash videos, and it's a great matchup. But I'm still gonna trust Hollywood. He's getting a lot of targets, and yeah.
Hollywood. Yeah, I mean this one's crazy. I am not. This is what I would say. I won't be upset if you start Demario Douglas over Hollywood. I think what Zach brings, I get it. He's gonna get the targets, hopefully. I think it's just a tough matchup against the Browns. The Browns are hoping to bounce back here. And Demario Douglas going against Washington, who currently give up, if I'm not mistaken, the second most amount of points to the wide receiver position. I'm willing to take a chance on Demario Douglas here.
That is true. What I will say is that the Browns have been getting destroyed out of the slot. So I know Hollywood kind of plays in and out.
Yeah. Look, I don't disagree. I think when I think of matchups, when I think of who's going to struggle more in this offense, in both offenses, in the Patriots and the Cardinals, I think Hollywood struggles more, but has clearly the higher ceiling. I think that's why we're leaning towards Hollywood. But or that's why you're leaning towards Hollywood, maybe potentially. But I'm going to Demario Douglas here, which may sound absurd.
Yeah, I was just checking. Yeah, he plays about 20% in the slot this year, so he goes in and out, but mostly on the outside.
We haven't seen, Demario have a crazy snap share, but now with Kendrick,
he did lead the team last week in routes run and snaps.
And this was his first game having that type of production here.
I do like the player. I just think there's more proven with Hollywood. So
I agree. I think we answered Just Do It. Should we drop Jamal Ford? Yeah, we did. Greg,
we answered that one.
Yeah, we did. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, Daniel, looks like start 2, Chase, Higgins, Collins, Metcalf. It would be Chase and Higgins for me.
Chase, Higgins, Collins, Metcalf. Yeah, Chase and Higgins.
Max, a subscriber, said, who should I drop, Foreman or Fournette?
Honestly, I would drop Foreman because I know that sounds crazy, but Herbert will be back at some point, and when Herbert and Rashawn were healthy, Foreman was inactive. Everyone who said there's no way Foreman's not involved, there's no way he's not the lead guy after what he did that 1 week, the next week he didn't play as many snaps as Rashawn Johnson, so different game plan obviously, but I think we expect the Bears to be down more than they're up in games.
Man, I just think it's too early to drop Foreman. That's what I would say.
Let me ask you this: how comfortable are you starting Foreman in the next week or two? Because Herbert will be back in the next week or two. How comfortable would you be starting Foreman?
I'm not comfortable starting. I would say this: I am going to be if you need somebody to start, you need to
Oh,
start
yeah.
Foreman this week.
I agree.
I'm saying like, this is what I would say. I'm not dropping Foreman right now for Fournette unless you have the depth to do that. Because I agree with what you're saying. Herbert comes back, he's going back to where Foreman was. 100% agree.
The way I'm viewing it is, unless Foreman is starting for you this week, I'm dropping him for Fournette, because we know what Foreman is when those guys are healthy. Whereas with Fournette, we don't know yet. We don't know. I mean, maybe he doesn't even play. But
I think we saw Roscoe get there was like a three-headed monster here with Foreman, Roscoe, and Dontario Evans. Yeah. So I think keep that in mind as well. Even week 1 with Herbert, or first game with Roscoe, Foreman was already losing a lot of opportunity there. So I understand.
Yeah.
T-Bag, MT or Palmer this week. Let's start there. MT or Palmer. I'm going Josh Palmer. If he plays and is healthy, he should be healthy. It's Monday night. What happened?
Did you seeing this rumor? Some in league circles think that after the season, the Commanders will try to work out a deal with the Patriots to hire Bill Belichick.
That sounds just like so random.
I'm not sure I believe that at all.
I don't believe that.
And honestly, I don't think I want that as a Commanders fan, because Bill has already achieved so much. I'm not saying he's not a good coach, but I want someone young, unproven, who can kind of make a way for themselves, rather than someone who's done it before and
like
might
a Brian
not have
Dable.
as much of passion. Not like Brian Dable, like a Sean McVay name.
I'm joking.
Like a Mike McDaniel name, Ugh, that would be annoying. But that is a weird random report.
That is such a random report.
MT or Palmer this week? It's Tyson Badgett on the stream. I'm going Palmer if he's healthy.
Agreed. And then also, should I drop Jeff Wilson for Singletary or Charbonnet?
I would drop him for either personally, but
100%
for Charbonnet myself.
Completely agree. James, Steelers defense, good option this week. I think they could be.
Yeah,
I think they could be. Donald Smith, would you drop Jalen Warren for Chuba? My running backs are Isaiah Pacheco, Josh Jacobs, and Javon.
I would.
Yes, I would as well. Steelers or Vikings defense here. Who the Vikings play this week again?
Vikings play the Falcons.
The Falcons.
This would be Steelers for me.
Steelers. Yeah, this would be Steelers for me as well. Joe E, start 2 for my flex. Starting Hopkins and CD as wide receivers. Godwin, Thomas, Rice, Dobbs. So I'm going Rice and Godwin.
Same. Yeah.
Space Ghost, PPR, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers in the flex. Bijan, James Cook, Henderson. So 2 running backs will be Bijan and James Cook for me. 2 wide receivers. I am seeing Higgins and let me check between McLaurin and Flowers here. I'm going Terry. And I'm actually might go and then I have Flowers and Lockett back to back there. I'm not confident starting Cooper Kupp this week.
Yeah, neither. It would be Bijan Cook for me as well, but at wide receiver, I would personally be going Flowers and McLaurin.
But you have a flex as well, so you can start another one.
Okay, and at flex, I would go Higgins.
Yeah, I have Flowers. I have Lockett 1 spot ahead of Flowers right now, but I think it's really tough. You can go either way.
I have Lockett 1 spot behind Higgins, so I get it.
Yeah. I'm going to go with my rankings. I'll go Lockett, Terry, Higgins, and then Bijan and James Cook, but we appreciate you. It looks like Mr. Anderson just came into... Well,
we got a super chat from Joe first.
Sorry, Joe. I kind of jumped the line there.
Okay.
Mr. Anderson, take a moment, sir. Giants or Texans? To start there, Giants or Texans? I'm going Giants personally.
I agree.
And Levis or CJ? I think we would both go CJ here.
Yeah, we would. Levis is a fun stash, but not someone you start yet. I have to. The reason I have to is because I'm in a super flex league and I just trade away Brock Purdy. So for me, I have to in a super flex league, but in a 1 quarterback league, not someone you're starting yet, in my opinion.
The fact that Will Levis had a good game makes you so excited. I think I said this. Didn't we say this before Sunday? I was like, you hope Will Levis is good so it can make Thursday night exciting.
Yeah, and it can just make the offense exciting. It can make D-Hop, Chig, maybe Traylon exciting.
Exactly. So I'm just really excited for this Thursday night game to see Will Levis. Thank you so much for that, Joe. But Mr. Anderson, welcome to the room. We appreciate you and everything you've done for the Matrix. Hey, respect to you guys doing this. So here it is. I have Cup, AJ Brown, DJ Moore, Amari Cooper, Michael Pittman, and Jordan Addison. What three would you start? First of all, we appreciate you and respect you for the donations. This is what I would say.
Blue
Cooper
pill
Cup, I'm not
red pill.
I mean, first of all, what would Morpheus do?
What would Morpheus do? Well, Morpheus is definitely starting AJ Brown. Let's start there. AJ Brown is starting, correct?
AJ Brown is starting, no doubt about it.
I actually know my answer here. I have to start 3. AJ Brown, Amari Cooper, Michael Pittman.
Michael Pittman. Okay, yes. Completely agree.
Now, I think you and I can both agree that Cooper Kupp can overcome Brett Rippon at quarterback and be a good play. But it's not something that we want to bet our week on. DJ Moore can overcome the teabag himself because of his talent. Not something we want to bet our week on. Jordan Addison could overcome because of how talented he is as a player. Jaron Hall throwing him the ball, but not something we want to bet our week on. We have seen Amari Cooper be decent, at least, with PJ Walker. Game with over 100 receiving yards. So AJ Brown, Amari Cooper, Michael Pittman for me.
Yeah, we appreciate you there, Mr. Anderson. Thank you so much. Back to the top here. I don't know how to say this. Magundy. Here we go. Do you prefer Amari Cooper or Jordan Addison the rest of the season? This is what I would say. What would I say?
I need to.
I think this.
I need to take a shot before I answer this one.
If Deshaun is actually healthy, I personally would rather have Amari Cooper. I just don't know that. Like, is he just going to come back and then get his shoulder hurt again, and it's just like average? But at the same time, how fast is it going to be for Dobbs to get acclimated to this offense?
You need to bring back the happy endings, because he's not the same person.
That's terrible. I actually don't think you can say that.
I said it. Cancel me. I mean, look at the stats before he stopped having happy ending massages and before and after.
Yeah, look.
I just got canceled on in 30 different countries. It's a tough question, man. It is a very tough question. I actually just looked at my rest of season rankings, and it's not helping at all because they are back to back. They are literally back to back. I would put Amari Cooper one spot ahead because I do believe Deshaun Watson will be back at some point. And we saw a good Deshaun Watson in 2 or 3 games to start the year. It hasn't been that since then. Whereas with Jordan Addison, not only do we have a downgrade at quarterback, we also have Justin Jefferson coming back at some point. So it is very difficult. I will go Amari Cooper. What I would say is most people could probably sell Jordan Addison for Amari Cooper and more. They could probably sell Jordan Addison for Amari Cooper and upgrade at tight end or quarterback or running back. So, yeah, tough question.
Yeah, I hear you. It is a very tough question. Our next question here is Joseph. Said, do you trust Ramondre Stevenson? And if so, do you start Stevenson or Downs in the flex with Taylor?
Downs.
RB1. Downs. Shout out to Nora. In the flex with Taylor, RB1, and Cook. I think I trust Downs over Stevenson, just purely based off his floor.
Yeah, I do too.
Purely based off his floor. So I would say this. I think Stevenson could have a good game. Obviously, they lose Sweat. They lose Chase Young. And, they're playing at home.
Yeah.
For some reason, they just do good at home, weirdly enough. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens there. Sean says, trade Aaron Jones and DeAndre Hopkins for Devontae Adams or Ayuk. Trade Aaron Jones and D-Hop for Deontay Adams and Ayuk. This is or Ayuk. I think my bigger question to you is like who are your running backs? Because if you're trading Aaron Jones and he's a key piece, or even your RB3, but you have James Cook and Ramondre Stevenson, I think you should hold an Aaron Jones. But if you have some pillar running backs like someone like a Jonathan Taylor or Breece Hall, along those lines, I think I might be interested in moving them for my wide receiver depth. For either one, in Devontae Adams or Ayuk.
By the way, we will be live for the next 15 minutes. So at the 45-minute mark, we will be in the stream, just so everyone's aware. But again, about the next 17 minutes or so. But yeah, I would agree with what you just said there. And he said, who's the worst out of Deontay, Flowers, D-Hop, and Hollywood? I know it was a great game, but I would probably still put D-Hop there of all these options from what I currently know.
Yeah. I am just not trusting these quarterbacks that are. I think I would rather trust in Will Levis than someone like a Clayton Tune that's going to be coming in. Yeah.
But I thought the question was rest of the year. Is the question this week or rest of the year?
Sorry, I'm thinking this week.
Okay, if it's this week, I agree with what you're saying. I was just assuming rest of the year. I'd rather trust Hollywood with Marquise. Hollywood
with Kyler. Agreed. Completely agree there. So hopefully that helps your question.
But I get what you're saying if the question is this week.
Yeah. Tom Can. Full PPR. Star 2, Ramondre Stevenson, Jerome Ford, Aaron Jones, Darrell Henderson. One will be Ramondre Stevenson for me. Yeah. And it will be Jerome Ford, but it's really close with Henderson there for me as well.
Yeah, that's where I would still go Aaron Jones.
Okay, that's fair.
So it would be Ramondre and Aaron Jones for me there.
Steelers or Giants? I'm personally going Giants. Not sure where you would go.
I think
Steelers could have a good game though.
Go Steelers.
Okay.
Your team got worse defensively this week, and Steelers still. They're always in games, and it is not because of their offense. They make big plays on defense.
I get it. I guess just it's not that really. It's just the back. Leonard Williams hasn't been a massive effect for our defense, unfortunately. I think that's why he was a big piece to move.
Sure.
Where are we next? I think we answered Just Do It. Michael Monzo, how you doing, brother? Half PPR, star 2.
Monzo.
Mostert, DJ Moore, Hunt, DK. Thanks, guys. Start 2.
Mostert plays the Chiefs.
For me,
it's Mostert and DK for me. I think DK's been pretty poor, but they're gonna need to throw the ball versus the Ravens. At least I expect this to be a high-scoring game. That's what we believe can happen. I believe can happen. So it would be Mostert and DK for me.
Mostert's one that I'm really iffy on this week. Chiefs are really good here.
No, I get that.
I don't believe they're going to result into running the ball often coming into this week. They currently give up.
I get what you're saying. Mostert has scored a touchdown in 6 of 8 games.
Yeah. If they get into that red zone, you're believing for a touchdown.
100%.
Which you hope so. I understand. I would say this.
And sorry, just quickly, Javonte Williams just ran all over the Chiefs. So it's not impossible, is what I'm saying.
It's not impossible. I would say this: a Kareem Hunt is a close second for me.
I get it.
To where with that matchup, the Cardinals, giving up a lot of points to the running back position. Even with Jerome Ford in, I feel really confident in that floor that Kareem Hunt can bring you.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps there, Michael. Mr. Green, Pollard or Cup, and Deontay Johnson at the flex.
This is where I would still go Pollard, and I know it's been bad, but yeah, I would still go Pollard. Pollard here, excuse me.
I don't love the matchup for Pollard, but I understand. I'm going Deontay Johnson here. Okay. I can just see them just struggling the whole time. Sean, trade Aaron Jones. I think we answered that question. Joseph, start Hubbard, Jalen Warren, or Hunt in my RB2. For me, this would be Kareem Hunt.
This would be Hubbard for me.
Okay. Keaton Downs has been really solid, and I think he start worthy. But I also think Rice may do well if KC
Yeah.
and Miami have a shootout. Not sure who to start.
Yeah, it's a very, very close call. I just think that as much as I love Rice, Downs has a very safe floor.
The floor, yeah, agreed.
So
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Sammy B. Shout out to Sammy B. Flex, Douglas or Rashid? I think we both agree will be Douglas there.
yeah, I'd agree with you there.
Okay. And tight end, McBride or Schultz? I have
McBride
Waller,
for
don't think
me.
he'll play. Yeah, this is where I would still go Dalton here.
Really?
Um,
I don't know. I mean, to me, what we said last week, I mentioned this, but I felt like Schultz was doing well because there was no Tank Dell.
yeah.
First game with Tank Dell back, Dalton Schultz puts up 2.5 points. He had 5 targets, which is great. But Trey McBride just had 14 targets. I mean, I cannot sit Trey McBride if Dalton Schultz is my best option.
Look, I get it. And I think this is me being scared of play in tune.
Be scared of 2.5 points. That's what you should be scared of.
Yeah, I'm still going Dalton here. I think they're going to have to score. They're going to be struggling.
Dalton Schultz has 3 games under 3 PPR points. Just going to put that out there this year.
Sure. And yeah, I can't argue. I see it. I understand it. Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Hopefully that helps, Sammy. But maybe you feel more comfortable with the way Zach is fighting for McBride versus me.
Look, I'm not like aggressively saying like McBride is going to be an incredible option. I think we both know the tight end position is there's a lot of volatility. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe Schultz will score more points, but
absolutely.
I mean Dalton Schultz is I don't know. Like McBride, again, 14 targets first week as a starter. That's tough to sit if that's your option, in my opinion.
I hear you. Steven Anderson, Stevenson or Hubbard. For me, it'll be Stevenson.
This would be Hubbard for me.
No worries. Alberto says he's from Mexico City. Love it, baby. Thank you so much. Out in Mexico. Jason, what's up, fellas? Would you start Deontay Johnson, Puka, or Godwin? For me, it'll be Deontay. PPR.
Yeah, I would also go Deontay.
Okay. Brunelli, have a kicker question. I have Mooney on the bye and I dropped him for Koo. Carson McPherson on waiver wire. Should I keep Carson or pick up either Carson or McPherson?
Evan McPherson.
Evan McPherson. Maybe his best. Where are they playing?
They play Buffalo at home.
They play Buffalo at home. I mean, I'm happy to take Evan McPherson here personally.
I think McPherson could be the play, but I like Young Hoku because it is in a dome. And
Koo is just
they're
doing
facing
cool things.
Jaron Hall, so
he's just doing cool things. I mean,
yeah,
he's killing it right now. CJ or Howe. This is where I go Howe.
Yeah.
This week I like Howe.
I think I would agree.
Okay. David, Jefferson for Olave. I'm 3-5 and need wins now. 12 PPR. I would say this. I think you can still stretch out a little bit more. Am I crazy to say that? If this team that you are trading Jefferson away to is a win now team, maybe he's 7-1 or 6-2, and he is like, oh, Jefferson, you don't need him. You need to win now. Great, you need to win now. Give me Olave and some more. Maybe I'm squeezing too much.
I was gonna say I feel
here.
like you could have absolutely before the Kirk Cousins injury, but post Kirk Cousins injury, I'm not sure you get that much more. Like maybe you can do a 2-for-2 deal there where you upgrade at tight end or quarterback or running back. But yeah, if it's straight up, I think I am comfortable to just hold on Jefferson and see what happens. But again, I still view Olave as a buy low, but I'm doing that deal if I can slightly upgrade at running back or tight end or quarterback in a 2-for-2 deal.
I wonder if you can get someone a little bit more consistent as well. Like, Is it crazy to shoot a little bit higher to get a CD or a Monera?
Yeah,
Is
see,
that too?
those names in my mind are not available for Justin Jefferson anymore. Of course, if you can do
Okay.
it, absolutely. But I just
Yeah.
don't think anyone would do it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, maybe the Monera. I mean, you need wins now, and the Monera's on a bye, which is unfortunate. But that is somebody that I would definitely target. But hopefully that helps there, brother. The boy, full PPR, start Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen. You close your eyes. You put first of
Lord.
all, you get a piece of paper. You write both the names in a hat. You close your eyes and you give it to your partner, your mother, your brother, and you tell them to pick one. And that's how you make your decision. Because whoever comes out of that hat, and you're happy with it or you're not happy with it, that's exactly going to be your answer. You all know.
So I ranked 38 quarterbacks this week in week 9. And my number 1 quarterback is Allen. My number 2 quarterback is Hurts. I have no idea who scores more points. And if anyone's telling you that they do know, they're just lying straight to your face. I mean,
and the fact that
absolutely no idea.
The fact that you have both of these guys is just
this is going to be a frustrating thing all year long to try and choose between those two. I would do my best to try and trade them for good value, upgrade at running back, upgrade at tight end or wide receiver. Za, what's up? Trade Walker and Olave for Eckler and Debo.
Trade Walker and Olave for Eckler.
See, this is where I would prefer Eckler and Debo.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I think it's an even trade. A little bit of an even trade. I think Walker feels really comfortable for me still.
Yeah, I've got Eckler over Walker, and I would say Debo and Olave are similar rest of the year, so Eckler moves the needle for me.
Yeah, I would agree.
What should I do with Devontae Adams? I'm personally trying to buy him on the low, which means it's probably not the right time to sell him. If people are constantly putting a player in a buy low list, probably not the right person to go out and sell, because you're not going to get anyone giving you proper value, I don't think.
Completely agreed. Tank Dell for T. Higgins. I think we said T. Higgins absolutely every time.
Yep.
I think we said Howell here as well.
Yep.
Do you think firing McDaniels will help Raiders and Devontae Adams? Yes, we do think.
I do believe so. Yes.
We could. Eric said, forgot to mention Myers for Murray trade as one quarterback, but also keeper. I have surplus wide receivers. Worth it. Do you expect much from Murray versus Love or Dobbs?
A keeper definitely changes things. This question was
ages
long
ago.
time. I can actually pull it up here. It is. Let me see.
One quarterback lost Cousins. Who's a better trade target between Kyler Murray and Derek Carr? Who would you rather give between Jacoby Myers and Calvin Ridley?
Is that the same question? I'm not sure.
I have no idea. It's the same person.
Yeah, I can't remember the question, Eric. I'm so sorry. I tried to find it. We're doing our best. I'm sorry. Ethan, Gabe Davis or Addison this week?
I got a feeling.
This could be a Gabe Davis week. I have Addison one spot ahead of Davis, so I'll stick with Addison, but it could be a Gabe Davis this week. I wouldn't be surprised by that. But typically, I'll just say typically, Gabe Davis is not the guy to pop off multiple weeks in a row. It's typically you popped off, and now let's score 3 points the next 2 weeks combined.
You popped off, and you don't pop off again. Let me tell you something.
But look, it's close. I don't think Diggs is going to be.
I would say.
Go ahead.
Sorry. The way they used Gabe Davis was completely different this past game. Like, they intentionally put him in quicker, shorter routes to get him the ball, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to continue, because it wasn't just like, oh, it's Gabe Davis is a 50-yard bomb, he catches a touchdown. Nah, my guy got targets. I think this might be career targets. Actually,
it could be. That's what I thought after Jacksonville in week 5, because he got 8 targets, and then the next week he had 4, and then in the week after he had 1 reception.
Yeah, I mean, this could be career targets for my guy. Actually, he got career targets in 2021. He got 14 targets in week 18, caught 3 out of 14 targets.
Oh my god,
that is crazy. Anyways, hopefully that helps. I'm going Gabe Davis though. Anthony, who wins this trade? 10-team PPR or 10? Who wins the trade? 10-team 4-4 PPR. Justin Jefferson, Waddle, Diggs, Addison, Jason, Kincaid, Ingram, Pollard. I mean,
what?
And Puka for Bijan, Justin Jefferson. I mean, I didn't even finish reading it, and I already know whoever got all those names.
Wait, I'm trying to understand what the actual trade is.
Because
This is the trade. It looks like he just put his team there. Look, okay. It says, is Keenan, Kenneth Walker, and Puka. Keenan, Kenneth Walker, and Puka. Yeah, it was I was so a little confused the way it was worded, but is Keenan, Ken Walker, and Puka for Bijan, Justin Jefferson really good for me? So Keenan, I'd rather have Keenan over Justin Jefferson at this point. Walker and Bijan, I would say, are pretty even. I'd rather have Puka over Ridley. So I'd rather have the Keenan side there.
Agreed.
But it's
completely
close.
Agree.
CJ Stroud or Levis. We'll go Stroud this week. Aaron Jones or Hubbard. I'll go Hubbard.
Yeah. I'm with you, brother.
Brandon. By the way, we're going to end the stream in about a minute. All right. We said that, about 20 minutes ago that we'd only be live for 20 more minutes. We appreciate y'all. But this might be some of the last questions we answer unless there's any super chats. No obligation to do so. What 2 players should I offer to acquire CeeDee Lamb? Bigger question is, what does a CeeDee Lamb owner want? Because we could tell you a different combination of all these players. But it really doesn't matter, because what matters is what the guy who owns Lamb, what does he want in return? Then you start a negotiation process. I mean, you could try Addison and Pacheco, but who knows if it gets done? You got to see what he wants and what he needs to make a move.
Yeah. Agreed.
8-0, baby. 18-man league. You love to see that. Mr. Prune says, start 2, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor. How are these your options?
Yeah, I mean,
Breece Hall for sure.
Breece Hall is for sure.
Who does Jacobs play? I'm trying to remember.
That's a good question.
Giants. It's
Jacobs
Breece Hall and Jacobs for me.
And I would be going Jonathan Taylor and Breece Hall. But yes, Josh Jacobs does have a good game. One of my biggest arguments for Josh Jacobs, I mean, I can't really argue because the whole game plan is going to change with McDaniels out. What I would say is that we held Breece Hall to like 1 yard per carry. The reason why he had a big game because he caught that screen pass and we did terrible tackling. But I think we can do that to Josh Jacobs personally. But that's just maybe my own bias coming in there. So hopefully that helps, Mr. Prune. But it will be Breece Hall and Jonathan Taylor for me. But I won't be surprised if Josh Jacobs has a good game with the new regime coming in this week.
Yeah. CJ or Hal or Levis, we've answered this a couple times. It's Hal. John says KJ Osborne's on the rise based off his routes running. Yeah. I would feel better about him with Kirk Cousins. I'll say this. I don't think KJ Osborne is someone I'm excited to start rest of the year anymore. What about you?
Yeah. No, thank you.
But let's see. Did I miss the Commanders trade reaction? That was yesterday. Let's see.
More untouchable. Who's a good kicker to stream this week? I'm leaning Dick or the kicker.
Dick or the kicker. Great. Go for it.
Go for it.
All right, that is going to be it for today, guys. We already actually went over the time that we said we would be streaming until. We appreciate y'all. Hopefully you can understand. Got some things we got to do. But hey, we will be live tomorrow before the game for about an hour. So go check out that live stream. It'll be up in like 30 minutes or so, I assume. Set a notification to put your questions in there. We'll be live for about an hour before the game. And yeah, we appreciate y'all. Oh, we did get a super chat, so let's make sure we prioritize that for you in the stream. Drop Palmer for Rice. Drop Palmer for Rice. Man, I really don't want to drop either of those names, but this week I'd rather start Rice. So if you're playing just this week and your waivers are pretty deep, I would start Rice this week over Palmer. Also, good defensive streaming options. There's a lot of good options out there. I do like the Steelers versus Will Levis. I do like the Raiders versus the Giants. I do like I like the Falcons versus the Vikings.
Saints.
I also like the Giants versus the Raiders. Saints, Bears. Yeah.
There's a couple good ones. I think those are the one that Zach kind of named. I'm happy to go with.
Yeah.
I'm interested with Brett Rippon, the Packers with Brett Rippon, but well, I think that one's really risky there. By the way, so keep that in mind.
They just lost Douglas as well. We
Yeah.
did get another donation from Mark, but do you see a question from him?
Well, I thought
I'm trying to scroll up. I don't see a question from Mark. All I see is this comment saying, "Brandon, get Levis for the Titans quarterback." Oh, is it above here? Chat. I trade Swift and Kittle for Keenan. Is that a bad or good deal? I need opinions. I mean, what I would say is it depends on who your tight end is, right? And who your running backs are. If you're getting rid of Swift, I assume you got a lot of good running back options. If you get rid of Kittle, who are you now starting at tight end? So I think context is everything there.
Yeah, I mean, without the context, I don't think this is a good trade. Personally, because if you are sending Kittle and you have a Cole Kmet, you're sending Kittle, you have a Logan Thomas, you're sending Kittle, and you have a Trey McBride, I think that is making things shaky for me. But if you send Swift and I don't know, you have a Jerome Ford, and
let's say Swift is like your fourth running back on your roster, that feels better.
Yeah, that feels better. But if he's number 2 or number 3, and you're telling me your running back is Ramondre Stevenson and Rashad White, I still want DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, agreed.
Ramondre Stevenson or Jerome Ford, Ramondre Stevenson or Gus Edwards, I want DeAndre Swift. So hopefully that helps, Mark. We appreciate the last minute super chat there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
for your donation. And I don't see any more comments, so hopefully that is helpful. But we appreciate you guys. We'll be live tomorrow about an hour before the games. Go check out my stash video I just released. Go check out the Dynasty channel if you are in Dynasty football. And we'll see you guys soon. All love.
Love.